Today we're going to look at rules and expectations, electronics and library. So you have to ask to use electronics. There needs to be a purpose for these electronics. So make sure that if it's not with an assignment that we're doing, that you ask to use it. Also, we don't really need cell phones and iPods anymore. You guys have computers, and that's going to be our main way of getting things done. If you need to use these other devices, you're going to have to ask your teacher. So when you walk into school in the morning, you're going to turn off your cell phone and you're going to put it away so that it can't be seen, and it's going to stay put away until lunchtime. During lunch, you can use your computer. Then you're going to put it back away before you leave the lunchroom. Then at the end of the day, once the final bell is rang, you can get your cell phone out again and you can turn it on. But during those other times, it needs to be off. It needs to be put away. You can keep it in your binder, in your pocket. Find a safe spot for it. If you want to keep it in your locker, they do a locker lock checkout at the beginning of the year. You would put a small deposit down, and at the end of the year, when you turn in your lock, you get that deposit back. So, the policy that's set by the middle school that all teachers are supposed to follow, according to our principal, is that if we hear a cell phone go off or we see a kid doing something on their cell phone and that cell phone's out, then we are to take that cell phone and give it to him. And then whenever he has a moment, and that moment may not come until seventh hour, he's going to call you down and talk to you about that. And then if you have any reasons for why that device was out or why that device was on or why it went off, then you can explain that to the principal. The principal then will make a decision on what's going to happen. And so this conversation about, why the cell phone was out, why the cell phone went off, that is a conversation for you and the principal to have, not for you and the teacher to have. So there's no reason to throw fits or be pouty with the teacher, be rude to the teacher. This is a conversation for you and the principal. But the best thing to do is just to make sure when you come into the school, power all the way off. Don't put it on airplane mode. Power all the way off and then put it away someplace. Then whenever you can have it, you can power it on and you can use it. So just make sure you're following those expectations. The handbook online will also give you additional information about our cell phone policy. Now we use a server called TigerNet, so you need to use that whenever you're in school. That way it can go through our different systems to make sure no bad websites pop up. So we have certain things blocked that the school has deemed inappropriate, and so you need to go through that TigerNet to make sure it catches all of that. You also need to make sure that you're on approved websites. So if the teacher's telling you that you need to be researching, say, Abraham Lincoln, then we should see you researching Abraham Lincoln. I don't want to glance over and see you researching funny cat memes. Or let's say you're finished with your work. If that's the case, I have approved things that you're supposed to do. So I don't want to look over and see you playing like a race car game. So make sure you're doing the right thing. And we are going to use computers quite a bit in social studies, and I'm sure you will in your other classes. And you'll have access to things like Canvas and Gmail, Google Drive, and all these other types of apps that you'll be using. Make sure that you do charge your computer every night, and I would also bring earbuds or headsets so that way you can listen to videos that your teacher might assign you. We do have a black and white printer, not a color printer, but a black and white printer. So if you need to print something, you can print it before or after school, like during your homeroom time. If you need to print something and you need a teacher to stay with you, you can always ask me, and I will try to make sure that I'm there so that you can get that printed off. Just keep in mind that it will be black and white, so that way if you want it in color, you'll have to use like a marker and put it in color. Most of the time, black and white is going to be just fine though. There's also printers at the Macon Library, and they have pretty long hours. So you can have a parent bring you there and make it so that you can use those printers and computers if you need to do that. A lot of times, though, you won't need printers at school, but if you do, we do have a black and white one. For the library, if you want to use it, you can, as long as it's during an appropriate time. You'll need a pass for me to get to the library, and just make sure you're being polite in the library. If you're not being polite, the librarian is going to kick you out, and you're going to lose that privilege. Also, make sure that if you say you're going to the library, that you go to the library and you don't like stop by the restroom and meander through the halls. Make sure, again, that you're doing the right thing. Let me know if you have any questions.